The notification comes on a Thursday at 11:47 p.m. You are in bed. You have work tomorrow. The same work you have had for 6 years at the same company where they know you as the person who always arrives early and never misses a deadline and takes the conference room on the second floor for lunch because it is quiet and nobody else uses it at noon. You look at the number on the screen. Then you put the phone face down on the nightstand and go to sleep. You started it 4 years ago on a Tuesday evening after a meeting that made you feel like your ideas had a ceiling someone else had installed. You did not start it to get rich. You started it the way most things that eventually matter begin. Quietly, without telling anyone, because telling anyone would have made it real in a way you were not ready for it to be real. The first month it made $340. You remember this number the way you remember specific details from specific days. The texture of the moment attached to the amount. $340 felt enormous. Not because of what it was, but because of what it meant. That the outside of your life could produce something your day job did not control. You reinvested it. You reinvested everything for 14 months. By the second year, it was making $4,000 a month. You told no one. Not because you were hiding it, because the conversation that comes after, I have a side business making $4,000 a month, is a conversation you did not want to have. The questions, the opinions, the suggestions from people who have never built anything about what you should do with the thing you built. You kept going to work. You kept eating lunch in the second floor conference room. You kept arriving early and missing no deadlines. The business ran in the background the way a second heart might run, present, consistent, unannounced. Your manager gives you a performance review in the spring of the third year. She says you are one of the most reliable people on the team. She says the company values your consistency. She says there is a potential path to senior level if you continue at this trajectory. You thank her genuinely. You mean it. You do not tell her that the business made $18,000 last month. You do not tell her that the trajectory she is describing has a ceiling you can already see clearly from where you are standing, and that the ceiling is not a problem because you built a room above it without asking permission. You just say thank you and return to your desk and send 3 emails and eat lunch in the conference room and go home. The month it crosses $50,000, you are sitting at your kitchen table at 6:14 a.m. with coffee that has gone slightly cold. You do not celebrate. You open the laptop, you look at the number, you close the laptop, you shower, you dress, you drive to work. Your coworker asks how your weekend was in the elevator. You say it was good, quiet. She says, same. The elevator opens. You go to your desk. At no point during this morning does anyone know that the thing you built in the evenings and on weekends for 4 years crossed a threshold last night that most people spend their entire careers hoping their salary will reach. The silence feels like the most accurate thing about the day. There is a version of this story where you tell someone and it goes well. A friend raises a glass. A family member says they always knew. A colleague asks how you did it, takes notes, sends a follow-up message. You have imagined this version. You have decided against it, not because you distrust the people around you, but because the business is the one place in your life where no one else's opinion has ever touched it. No one told you it was a good idea. No one told you it was a bad one. No one gave you feedback on the early version. No one was there for the month it nearly failed, and you rebuilt the back end over a single weekend in February while your friends were at a birthday dinner you said you had a conflict with. The business belongs entirely to you in a way that almost nothing else in an adult life belongs entirely to you. You are not ready to share that. You are not sure you will ever be ready to share that. Your mother calls on Sunday. She asks how work is. You tell her good, busy. She asks if you are eating properly. You tell her yes. She asks if you are seeing anyone. You tell her you have been focused on other things. She says you work too hard. You say, I know. She means the job. In the 5th month, above $50,000, you start doing the math differently. Not what the business makes, what it makes relative to everything else. The mortgage, covered in 4 days of revenue. The car payment, covered in an afternoon. The day job salary, matched by the 9th of every month and then exceeded quietly for the remaining 22 days. You sit with this math privately the way you sit with most things, alone at the kitchen table in the early morning before the rest of the day arrives to fill in the space around it. You are not sure what to do with the information. You keep going to work. A new hire joins the team in the fall. He is 26. He reminds you of yourself at 26. the specific energy of someone who is working hard because they believe the visible path will eventually deliver the thing they are actually looking for. You want to tell him something useful. You do not know how to say, the visible path delivers what it promises, which is not always what you are looking for. You do not know how to say, build the invisible one alongside it. Start on a Tuesday evening. Tell no one. Reinvest everything for 14 months. You just tell him the conference room on the second floor is quiet at noon if he ever needs it. He says thanks. He probably won't use it. You go back to your desk. The question you have not answered yet is when, not whether. You know the answer to whether. The business has made the answer to whether a mathematical fact rather than a decision. When is harder? When requires you to account for things the spreadsheet does not have a column for. The identity that lives inside the job even though you have outgrown it. The colleagues you would miss in a way that surprises you. The structure that the day provides even though the day no longer needs to be structured around income. The business is patient. The business does not care when. The business will be there on the Tuesday you decide, the same way it was there on the Tuesday you started. Quiet, functional, asking nothing of you except the next step. You take a week off in October. You tell work it is a vacation. You do not tell them it is a test. You wake up without an alarm for 7 days. You work on the business when you want to, which turns out to be most mornings, not because you have to, but because you want to. You walk in the afternoons, you cook actual meals, you read a book that has nothing to do with anything you are building. On the 5th day, you realize you have not thought about the office once. On the 6th day, you realize the absence of thinking about the office feels like the most natural thing you have experienced in 6 years. On the 7th day, you go back. You sit at your desk. You send 3 emails. You eat lunch in the conference room on the second floor. The conference room is the same. You have not made the decision yet. This is the honest version of the story. The number is there. The freedom is technically available, and you are still sitting with it in the early mornings at the kitchen table before the coffee goes cold, not because you are afraid and not because you are uncertain, but because you are being careful with something that belongs entirely to you, and you have learned, over 4 years of building it in private, that careful is how things like this survive. The business does not need you to decide today. It needed you to decide on a Tuesday 4 years ago when you opened the laptop after a meeting that made you feel like your ceiling had been installed by someone else. That decision was made. Everything since then has been the result of it. The notification comes again on a Thursday at 11:47 p.m. A different month. A larger number. You look at it. You put the phone face down on the nightstand. You go to sleep. Tomorrow you will drive to work. You will arrive early. You will miss no deadlines. You will eat lunch in the conference room on the second floor because it is quiet and nobody else uses it at noon. And nobody in that building will know what is running silently in the background, the same way nobody knew 4 years ago when it made $340 and you reinvested every dollar of it because you had decided quietly and without telling anyone that the ceiling someone else installed was not the ceiling you were going to live under.